something of a great significance. Hello and welcome to another update, the 10th, and as perhaps many of you would expect, I haven't been had many hours sleep. It's been quite an interesting evening, and I want to go in and tell you stuff that perhaps is new to you and some that might not be, but we can give you some clarification. Okay, it's not unusual for me to receive messages at all times of the day and the night, but the message that I received yesterday started off with the words, "This is not a drill." And those of you who've served in one way or the other, you will know what that means. So I immediately realized that this was not the normal message, in the sense that it was intel yet to happen. This was something of a great significance. The original plan was for the president at midnight Eastern time, that's the East Coast, to make an address to the people, with Mike Pompeo doing half an hour release on Twitter, then every 15 minutes, then every 10 minutes, then every 5 minutes. That was the original plan, a sort of a countdown. That's what the military wanted. That didn't happen in the end because events overtook what was to happen. 8 days ago, I was told to expect this action not yesterday, but Wednesday to come. So I wasn't expecting this until 3 days or so time, and I had a whole plan laid out to alert all my coordinators, for them to pass it on to the members, and then to the general public. That plan went out the window because this operation was brought forward. I need to explain to you what's happened, why that's had to be brought forward. Those of you who've done your research, and those of you who haven't, have a good look. You'll know that Pakistan suffered a huge power outage. About 40% of the country, that's a big country, 40% of the country was out. For most people, they scratch their heads and say, well, we've never heard Pakistan in the news. What's all this about? And I like to tell you. General Electric, for those of you who don't know, is a very big defense contractor. It's an American company, and the F-16, I believe, General Dynamics F-16, I believe, used a General Electric turbojet or a fan jet. Many American fighters have General Electric as the engine. There are three main big companies. One is Pratt & Whitney, the other is General Electric, and the other, of course, is Rolls-Royce. If I've forgotten any of you engine manufacturers, I'm very sorry. Right, President Trump is not at all happy with American companies being sold to China, and most of the employees of General Electric didn't realize that they were on the verge of having their company sold to a Chinese conglomerate. And as you know, all Chinese conglomerates lead to the Chinese Communist Party. The offer bid was $5.4 billion. The deal was to take place in Pakistan. When the Chinese realized that Donald Trump was onto them, predominantly through Nancy Pelosi's laptop and 15 others that were taken during the mayhem in the Capitol building, they brought forward this deal. They wanted General Electric to get across into China very quickly. And can you imagine if you were in the United States Air Force or any European Air Force, and you should go to war with China, you would be flying an aeroplane and fighting an aeroplane that had the same engine that you had. And that was not ever going to happen. And so what happened was that the plan to go live on Tuesday or Wednesday, hello darling, Tuesday or Wednesday, was brought forward to last night because the Chinese have brought forward their plan to sign the deal, which was to take place in Pakistan. That is why there was an outage in Pakistan. Let's move on quickly. I've only had one report, and those of you who know me know I don't go live with you guys until I have two independent reports telling me the same thing. I cannot confirm that the Italian Prime Minister has been arrested. I can tell you that it is true that an Italian judge signed a warrant for his arrest, and also signed a warrant for the arrest of a very high-ranking leading general who was responsible for the Leonardi satellites. The Italian government is up to their neck in this, but a deal is trying to be done with the United States or with Trump to say that can we please say that the Leonardi satellites were hacked, therefore it absolves the Italian government from prosecution. And I think the Americans might be saying, yes, okay, we'll accept that, but you've got to arrest X, Y, and Z. So that's what's happening in Italy. There was a considerable power outage in Berlin. Don't be surprised, because we had all the Dominion servers in Frankfurt in Germany, and there was some administrative stuff in Berlin that had to be dealt with. That's that. There is a curfew in Quebec from 8 p.m. until 5 a.m. And if you're driving from United States into Canada and those borders, you might expect your car to be searched. I think they're stopping 1 in every 3 or 1 in every 5 as a random check. So that's going on there. Yesterday, regular troops, not National Guard, regular troops were deployed in California, and I did post that on my website, simonparks.org, and there are some troop movements. Yes, I know there are troop movements all over the place, it's regular, but this was part of this operation. Here's the exciting news. Well, it's all exciting, isn't it? But the Insurrection Act was signed last night. That is why I got the message, this is not a drill. So the Insurrection Act has been signed by the president. Do not expect President Trump to bother to go to Congress to be inaugurated. You American guys and lasses will know very well it's not the first time that a president has been inaugurated in the White House. And I'm expecting the president to be inaugurated in the White House. In terms of Britain, I also got a message. The people who are looking after me, can I put it like that, know where I live, and they've said that they are expecting some power outages in the United Kingdom, not for very long, but it could affect the pumps, the water pumps that pump our drinking water, and there could be in some areas a power outage with no water being pumped. So if you're in a position this morning or this afternoon, whenever you get this, get yourself some extra drinking water, perhaps fill a bathtub so you can flush your lavatory. Remember, if you have any pets like I do, make sure you keep your bathroom or doors closed. Don't let your pets fall and drown in the bath water. We should expect the big names that we all know and talk about not to go in this first phase. There will be a number of phases, and these phases will occur. Now, those of you who watched my I thought it was quite a nice chat with Charlie Ward and Nicholas, who was doing the hosting, I knew to an extent what was coming, and I couldn't sort of tell you guys exactly because I didn't know what day it was to be. We knew that it was Tuesday or Wednesday, but there was always a possibility to bring it forward. And if you want to play back that interview, I did my best to tell everybody. I can't remember if it was a question from Nicholas. I said, look, Charlie, don't you think we've reached the end of the road? Don't you think we've got to do it? I got the joke of the big stick, and people say to me, what is it with you Brits? You always want to get in there and start walloping. And I said to Charlie, don't you think we've reached the end of the game? Don't you think he needs to sign the Insurrection Act or what have you? And I think I said to Charlie, don't you think it's time to stop dancing around? That was the best thing I could do, to say, look, I'm expecting Tuesday, Wednesday, but they might bring this forward. So check that back and you'll see that I said that.